Now, as Los Angeles wildfires continue to burn, communities are working on how to move forward. Plus, Senate confirmation hearings begin for President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet picks. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Jalen Banks. Now, we'll get to those stories in just a second, but first we are going to begin with the weather, where frigid temps are moving through southern Wisconsin. Meanwhile, wind chills are dipping below zero for most of the day. Let's get a look at your first one forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze.
That's right. You know, we went for an alert day not only this morning, but also for your Tuesday morning. We've added a couple more days into our extended forecast underneath those alert day conditions. We'll talk about that in the full forecast, but we are still anticipating those very cold wind chills, not only through the rest of your day, especially through the first half of the day on not only Monday, but into Tuesday as well. Future track wind chills are going to keep us below zero pretty much throughout the rest of your day overnight. And then as we're waking up on Tuesday, again, it's going to feel anywhere between 15 to 25 degrees, especially up there near Viroqua, Camp Douglas, near Watoma. Closer to that 25 degrees below zero feeling. So make sure that you're limiting your time and your pet's time outdoors around this kind of threshold for wind chill values. Frostbite can set in within 30 minutes, and we certainly don't want that. So also tune in to News 3 Now in the morning just to make sure that your child's school maybe isn't delayed so that they don't have to go outside and they can stay inside and stay warm if they need to. There was a look at our current wind chills. It feels like it's 2 degrees below zero in Madison. Feels like it's 15 degrees below zero about in Camp Douglas, as well as about 10 degrees below zero is what it feels like in Watoma, despite the fact that our temperatures are actually anywhere between 5 to almost 20 degrees. So we are above zero. It just doesn't feel like it. And especially further north, that's where there's a little bit more snow on the ground, contributing to those colder wind chill values and colder temperatures. Plenty of sunshine today, though. That's kind of the double-edged sword. With these colder days, we get a lot more sunshine. Now, I mentioned that we are adding a few more days into alert day categories, and that's going to be arriving next week. We'll talk about that cold Arctic blast in the full forecast.
Sounds good, Blaze. Now come on inside and warm up a little bit for full weather.
I will.
All right, see you in a little bit. Now, you can stay up to date on the weather on our First Warn Forecast weather app. It has hourly forecasts, road conditions, and the latest radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. A Marshall man accused of homicide and the death of his girlfriend will spend the rest of his life in prison. 71-year-old Jose Luis Gonzalez pleaded no contest to a charge of first-degree intentional homicide. This is in connection to the death of 39-year-old Dora Gonzalez Zadaray. This happened back on May 24th, 2022. Gonzalez will be eligible to petition for extended supervision in 2045. A man is dead after a rollover crash Friday evening. It happened in the town of Rutland at around 11:30. The 25-year-old driver was heading north on North Union Road when he lost control. His vehicle rolled over several times. The driver died at the scene. The crash is currently under investigation. Fitchburg police say they arrested 2 people this morning for driving drunk down the Beltline the wrong way. Police said the 2 were heading westbound in the eastbound lanes. An officer with help from the Dane County Sheriff's Office stopped both drivers near Fish Hatchery Road. Initial breathalyzer tests show they were both over the legal limit. And after making progress over the weekend, firefighters battling the deadly wildfires in California are preparing to return to the dangerous winds. So far, the fires have burned around 40,000 acres. Red flag warnings are up through Wednesday, with wind gusts potentially reaching 70 miles per hour. Officers say high winds combined with low levels of humidity could cause explosive fire growth.
The anticipated winds combined with low humidities and low fuel moistures will keep the fire threat in all of Los Angeles County critical.
Meanwhile, charges are expected to be announced later today in the looting problem. Among the arrested, 2 people posing as firefighters. Now, if you're interested in helping from afar, there are several organizations you can donate to. You can find a complete list of organizations to support, along with links to do so at cbsnews.com. Senate confirmation hearings from President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet picks begin today. One of the first will be former Fox News host Pete Hegseth, Trump's controversial pick for Secretary of Defense. He could face questions by the Armed Services Committee about his workplace behavior and treatment of women. He denies allegations of sexual assault. Other hearings this week include South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem as Homeland Security Secretary, Senator Marco Rubio as Secretary of State, and Pam Bondi as Attorney General. Still ahead this afternoon, if you have a question or concern about your plants or garden, now is the time to send us your questions via email to tips@channel3000.com. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company joins us later in the broadcast with the answers. Again, that's tips@channel3000.com. And coming up, 2 major retailers announced more store closures over the weekend. Plus, how fast food chain Arby's is trying to help its customers keep their New Year's resolutions. That and more after the break.
You're watching News 3 Now at noon.
Two major retailers announced more store closures over the weekend. First, Macy's said it's closing down 66 underperforming stores this year in more than 20 states. Meantime, Kohl's says it plans to close 27 stores by April. Both companies say the closures will allow them to focus efforts on the remaining locations in order to boost profits and service. Heist sequel Den of Thieves 2 Pantera topped the domestic weekend box office with more than $15 million. Mufasa, The Lion King, and Sonic the Hedgehog 3 are also still going strong, raking in $13 and $11 million. On the other hand, the Robbie Williams biopic Better Man, which features the British singer as a CGI monkey, did not do so well, opening with just over $1 million in estimated ticket sales. And Arby's is trying to help its customers keep their New Year's resolutions, at least in name only. For just this week, the fast food chain is launching its New Year Same You menu, renaming some of its classic offerings as healthy alternatives. The small curly fries are now listed as steamed vegetables and the double beef and cheddar sandwich as salad with dressing. The company says the new menu takes the pressure off those held accountable by family and friends for keeping their goals while offering a cheat day. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Matt Piper.
Now here's a look at the current stock numbers. The Dow is up 227 points. The Nasdaq is down 148, and the S&P 500 is down 24. Up next at noon, Pam has today's farm numbers and Blaze returns with your first one forecast. Then later on live at 4, Will Loper reviews Better Man and The Last Showgirl ahead of the release of the Academy Award nominations. Welcome back. Let's check in now with Farm Babe Pam Yankee for the Midwest Farm Report. Pam, how was your weekend?
Well, you know, it would have been better, Jalen, if I could finish off on a Sunday with a victory. But, weather-wise, it wasn't too bad. Could still be outside throwing the Frisbee for the dog, so that's all right. Now, on a Monday, we're talking a little bit about the new calendar year. I just got done producing a story about how cheese is finding favor with a lot of our consumers, both here in Wisconsin, domestically in the United States, and abroad. We're also following up on some snack-related trends for 2025. Snacking's turned into big business, and that means that our Wisconsin meat processors are standing by to try to capitalize on our snacking habits. Coming up on the 21st through the 23rd on the UW campus, they are going to have their meat snack school, meat curing school. I had a chance to enjoy it last year and thought I'd share some pictures with you. The snacks that you take for granted, maybe, they are really quite a combination of not only science and technology, food safety, and also creativity when it comes to the seasonings, the curing. They'll be taking a look at everything from how they're manufacturing hams, their bacon, flavored curing meats, bacon manufacturing, how we're handling that cured process, the whole 9 yards from beginning to end at the beautiful Meat Science and Animal Biologics Discovery Center down on the UW-Madison campus. Again, the 21st through the 23rd. If this is something you're interested in, or maybe you're already involved in meat processing, I bet they've still got space if you'd like to join up with them. Again, like I said, meat snacks, a big business for our Wisconsin meat industry, and cheese in 2025. Big business for a lot of our Wisconsin cheesemakers, according to the latest research. much. Want to talk a little bit about what's going on with the markets. Very, very robust. It started this morning when I was doing the early show. Noticed that things like soybeans were up as much as a dime. Wheat was up a nickel. That strength is continuing today, and it's also influencing in dairy. As a matter of fact, since I sent the market numbers over a little bit ago, our dairy complex is up better than 40 cents for that Class 3 milk that goes into cheese, maybe in part because of some of those interesting demand-related research pieces we're seeing come out. Consumers looking for protein-dense products. That's, of course, snack meats, and also our cheese packing the punch of protein. That seems to be one of the trends we're watching. Today in Chicago, like I said, the dairy market's very, very robust. These numbers are pale compared to where we stand right now. Barrel cheese on a Monday up 3 cents at $1.88. 40-pound block cheese gained back 9 cents, up today to $1.91. And AA butter, Jalen, up a penny and a quarter today at $2.61 and a quarter per pound. Like I said, Dow Jones Industrial Average, as you mentioned before the break, is up, and our commodities are coming along for the ride. So for farmers that are looking to maybe get a little cash in their pocket, pay some bills, today may not be a bad day to see some of that grain you grew last year marketed in the new calendar year.
Robust, just like you said. Sounds good, Pam. Thank you. Frigid temps today and tomorrow. Here's Blaze with your complete forecast.
That's right, and we'll get a brief break from the cold before we ease, I would say ease very lightly, into an Arctic blast as we go into next week. We're going to take a look at all of that here in the full forecast. But yes, we're still going to keep the alert day conditions through the rest of today, but it were really for the morning hours on Monday. And then again on Tuesday at the top of the hour, we talked about and looked at those future track wind chills, feeling like anywhere between 15 to 25 degrees below zero Tuesday morning. So make sure that you are staying warm. Waking up tomorrow, we do get a brief warm up. As I said, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we're back into those mid to upper 30s to end this work week, still staying quiet. And then there's that Arctic blast, especially Monday and Tuesday of next week. Those are the next 2 days that we have underneath alert day conditions. And I'll talk about the reason why here in just a moment. But the confidence continues to remain high, 80 to 90% over the next 6 to 10 days, that not only Wisconsin, but a lot of the Midwest and the plains are going to be underneath cooler than average temperatures. And if we extend that out to the next 8 to 14 days, that area of confidence, that darker blue, if not that purple, doesn't really move very far east. So that tells me that the cooler than average temperature trend is likely going to stick around through at least some point into the January 21st through 27th time frame. Is it the entire time? That's going to be what we're going to have to be looking at. But this just tells me that we're not going to be warming up, or at least seeing any warmer than average temperatures moving in during that 8 to 14 day time frame. In fact, hazardous cold is likely going to be overhead across a lot of Wisconsin. We'll put this on Facebook here in just a moment so you guys can share it and get some of your family and friends kind of ready for this cold. But this is where we're expecting really this Arctic blast to be the coldest, especially further north and west. Long range models want to get our wind chill values Monday and Tuesday of next week down to anywhere between 20 to 30 degrees below zero. So that is some very dangerous cold. And this is air that is truly coming from the Arctic. We're going to have a series of high pressure systems sitting over here, and then we're going to have one particularly strong low pressure system that's going to place itself in about this area just to the east of the Hudson Bay. Their northwesterly winds combine and bring down that Arctic air as we go into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week. And again, this air is kind of reaching that color at the very end of the cold air spectrum. So this is going to be likely the coldest air of winter so far. And hopefully we only warm up from here. But watch as anybody in the purple is at 0 degrees or below. As we go into Monday and Tuesday of next week, that purple just continues to extend its way southward. The freezing mark, 32 degrees or below, is as far south as the Gulf of Mexico during this same time frame. So a lot of the United States is going to be bracing for this blast of Arctic air, whereas parts of Canada as well as Alaska, they're going to be much warmer than average. So again, it's all about balance. We have to make room for that cooler air, or for that warmer air in Alaska, and we take it, put it over here so that they can warm up. But there is a look at your 7 and 10 day forecast. Teens today, 20s on Wednesday, upper 30s to low 40s Thursday and Friday. We are staying quiet over the next 7 to 10 days. Enjoy the 40s because we are back into those single digits for highs and slipping below zero for overnight lows starting Sunday night, Monday night, and possibly Tuesday night of next week. And again, with those expected wind chill values, we are going to put alert days for next Monday and Tuesday as well.
Definitely
let it out. I can hear that sigh.
Yeah, time to break out the gloves, the scarves, and everything else. Sounds good.
Yep.
Thank you, Blaze. Next, Howard has a versatile recipe that would be good any time of the year.
It's really super moist, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to start off this segment by suggesting that today's recipe for baking cornbread would be ideal for this time of year, since it goes well with a big bowl of chili or a hearty bowl of soup. Then I said to myself, this is also perfect in the summer with fried chicken or when it's toasted on the grill next to our burgers. Either way, let me show you how easy it is to make, and then you can decide for yourself when it's best to serve. First of all, you know it's going to be nice and moist since it starts with a good amount of sour cream mixed with milk, an egg, and melted butter. After that's combined, we stir in some yellow cornmeal, flour, sugar, bacon bits, and a few basics. After we give this a mix, we'll pour it into a pan and into the oven it goes. When it passes a toothpick test, it's done. Now it's ready to be slathered with butter, dunked in our chili, or warmed up on the grill. And since it's studded with bacon, you just might make this your new breadbasket staple. To get the recipe for our baking cornbread, all you have to do is check out our website.
This is one of those recipes you hang on your fridge.
Since you'll be making it all the time. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a year-round kind of way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. Want it done?
And your soup's better too, yeah.
Ahead at noon, Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and garden questions. Email those questions at tips@channel3000.com. We'll get the answers next. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is answering your plant and garden questions. You can email those questions, as always, to tips@channel3000.com. Lisa, thank you for joining us, as always.
Problem.
We'll go ahead and get right into it.
Yeah, I usually bring something. It's just too cold to bring houseplants out today.
All right, so Mary is wondering about watering indoor plants. She has a water softener, but thought that it only affected the hot water system. What's your recommendation for watering indoor plants?
So if you're seeing some kinds of damage on your houseplants, you could be seeing maybe some salt or some residue of things on the soil. A few plants are particularly not tolerant of that kind of stuff. What we do at the garden center is we fill our watering cans at the end of the day and we let them settle. Usually about 12 hours or so is enough that all of those things that are salts and minerals that are in treated water will sink to the bottom.
Right.
And then you just water with the water that's at the top, and then once you get down to an inch or so, clean it out and then start from there. So that's a really easy way without having to go and buy water from the grocery store to use the plants with the water that you have.
All right, sounds good. Now, Ann is asking, is there anything I can feed the wild rabbits so they don't chew at my apple tree bark? What are your recommendations there?
So my first goal would be to protect your trees. And for rabbits, you can do that with a simple tree wrap. Comes in a roll of sort of corrugated paper, and you just sort of wrap it up and put some tape on it. And usually if you put that on right around sometime mid-October and then keep that on until the temperatures warm up, usually around the first part of April, that will keep the rabbits away from gnawing bark. If it's down low, though, the damage, then that's more likely to be mice or voles, and you're going to want to put like some hardware cloth and put that in the soil a little bit. Rabbits usually will do the damage to about 30 or 36 inches. Sometimes, though, if we get a lot of snow cover, they can get up higher because, of course, they're using the snow. But that's what you want to do, more protection than giving them something else.
All right, sounds good. Now, Karen says that she has air roots, but no bottom roots as they rotted due to too much water.
Sure.
The leaves are also wrinkled. What can she do to revive it?
So I did do a lookup on this because I didn't know the answer to this question, but you can reroot or repot an orchid using just the aerial roots. So what you're going to want to do is take it out of the pot, carefully remove all of the rotted roots and any potting medium, and then repot it by putting the potting medium in the pot, laying the aerial roots on top, and then covering it. And then you're going to want to be sure that you water it properly, so don't overwater it. If it's in a pot that doesn't have drainage, your new pot should definitely have drainage. And then it's just going to take some time for the plant to recover. So I would put it in a bright spot, but not a place with indirect light or with direct sunlight.
Okay.
So bright, indirect.
Sounds good. You guys heard her. All right. Thank you, Lisa. Here's Blaze with the final check of the forecast. Blaze.
And again, alert day conditions expected for your Tuesday morning. Wind chill values once again feeling anywhere between 10 to 20, 25 degrees below zero. It is going to feel colder tomorrow morning than the wind chills that we are waking up to this morning. But again, just make sure that you are dressing warmly and tuning into News 3 Now for any updates, especially if we do get any sort of school delays coming in. You'll definitely want to know that before sending the kids off to school. 7 and 10-day forecast, quiet. We warm up into the 30s and 40s to end this week before our Arctic blast arrives that Monday.